Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the Aging Potheads. I am Big Brother Boss, aka the Funky Monk, and welcome to our show tonight. Miss Candy will not be able to make it with us, but we do wish her well. She will be with us next week. Like I said, I am Funky Monk. If you want to hit me up, it is Funky Monk at theagingpotheads.com. And as we always do at the beginning of the show, we are always going to blaze up, y'all. Oh, what's up, Token Tony?
What's up, bud?
Hey, not much, bruh. And y'all, this is Token Tony. Oh man. Founding member of the show. We're just gonna blaze, my brother.
Oh, needed that after a long day.
For sure. For sure. So, y'all, what are you smoking tonight? Where are you watching us from? Tonight, I am smoking on Jungle Pie is the brand, is what I'm smoking on tonight. Jungle Pie is a, sorry, it is a, it is a balanced 50-50 in some cases. To me, it hits like an indica. I really feel an indica on this one. What I actually use it for is right now I'm smoking it because after the show I'm gonna go to sleep. But it helps me. It does help me with my sleep. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me turn my mic down. It helps me with sleep, but it keeps me up enough to do the show. But when the show is over and I can lay down and I can relax, it's going to put me to sleep. I gave it 4.5 blunts because of that reason, because it'll get me relaxed enough to go to sleep without knocking me down. I can still do a couple of things. I say a lot, Tony, about to get me. it helps with that so that I could, get to sleep. I just gave it 4 blunts. What are you smoking on tonight, man?
Honestly, I was trying to look for my tube. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's I know it's a hybrid. I got it over at the dispensary on Decatur. It's lemon haze and something. I can't remember. I was looking for the tube. I don't know what I did with it. It's basically I have an infused pre-roll. Lately, that's all I've been buying is infused pre-roll.
Okay.
So just a little something different.
Okay, and how would you rate them? Would you give it like a 4 or 5?
Honestly, I've noticed something with the infused pre-rolls anywhere I buy them, really. Anything that's like, I would say 28 and less really stays in a 3 to 4 category for me. Anything that's a 28 and above, no, really, realistically, 30 and above, I've only given it about 4.5 to a 5 every single time. Like, I have not had one that an infused pre-roll was not worth it to me.
I get it. Now, excuse me. Now, what? God, trying to do 2 things at once here. Excuse me. But yeah, I get it. I have an infused pre-roll and they do hit hard. The ones I normally get from a friend of mine always hit better than the dispensaries. Sometimes the dispensaries they keep it a little too long for my liking. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I have a friend who makes them fresh, so I really like it when they do that.
Well, the better thing about when you have a friend who can do it, or even if you make your own, we don't have to regulate it. You know what I mean? Based on price or quantity, we just throw whatever we want in that bitch.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I like it too. Now, infused pre-rolls, y'all.
Thank you. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, infused pre-rolls are not for the weak, y'all. I can tell you that right now. Infused pre-rolls are not for the weak. They are definitely not for the weak.
Thank you, bud.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, everybody. And you're right. They're not for the weak. From what I see here, the one I have is super lemon haze mixed with grand guava glue.
Yeah. Okay.
These
So,
ones are hitting about 50%.
oh damn. Okay.
So yeah, this one's like about 42%, I believe. I forget which one was called to.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that mix. Lemon. You said lemon haze, and what was the second one?
Lemon haze and grand guava glue.
Okay.
So
I never heard of
don't know
Grand
how well you
Guava
do
glue, but I heard of guava and I heard of glue.
Yeah,
So
gorilla
that,
glue and stuff. That's the first time I've seen it.
yeah. So with
So
yeah, Grand Guava glue. That sounds like a nice strain. I might have to head over to the dispensary and try that one.
it's not bad. I like it.
Okay. All right. I have to run over and try it. I do know that a lot of these strains like guava glue. That sounds kind of cool. Because if it's guava is a 50-50 along with Gorilla Glue, which is a 50-50. But the last batches of Gorilla Glue that's been coming out have been really leaning indica. So with Gorilla Glue, watch out. Like I say, a lot of the Gorilla Glue I've been trying lately have been leaning indica as opposed to 50-50 or even just, um, a little bit more indica than some folks might prefer. But like we were saying, if you are smoking an infused pre-roll, it is not really for beginners. If you are a beginner or you've never had a infused pre-roll, I suggest taking it take 2 tokes, put it down.
Yeah.
Because it's going to hit hard and it's going to come fast. It's going to hit hard, y'all. Trust me, it will. It definitely will. Now, excuse me. There's a couple of things here. I was set up to... Wow. I'm sorry,
That was
y'all.
not me. Okay, I was going to say that one was not me. I'm outside and I didn't. Nope.
I know, right? Hold on a second, y'all. But one thing, Candace and I had some stuff to talk about, but she couldn't come in tonight. But one thing Tony and I were talking about this week is that in Florida, there is a Kroger store, and sorry, y'all, let me get this window closed. All right, I'm sorry about that, folks. But to celebrate Black History Month, the Krogers put up a life-size display of Snoop Dogg pushing his new wine, as well as another wine from Black Girl Magic. And folks felt that was inappropriate for Black History Month. Personally, and in my opinion, I believe it's kind of a non-issue because it's appropriate for the venue per se, in my opinion. It's a supermarket. So in a supermarket, we'd expect to see things in Black History Month associated with food and whatever a supermarket may carry. In me, I feel it's completely appropriate. I don't believe Kroger's did it to insult anyone. It's doing 2 things for me. It is showing folks that there are Black-owned and Black-made alcoholic products like wine. It's wine. It's wine, people. And
Exactly.
it's showcasing it. It's Black History Month. We're going to showcase wines and alcohol made by Black producers and distributors, which I have no problem with that. It's appropriate for, like I said, it's appropriate for what's going on. You know what I mean? Let us know your opinion about that in the comments. How did you feel about it, Tony?
I'm the same way as you. It was just through pushing black-owned products. I don't see what the problem is.
Mhm.
Some were not they weren't necessarily as upset about it being wine as they were the label or the title of that particular wine was
Mhm.
19 Crimes. Snoop
Mhm.
Dogg has said way worse things in his lyrics. I'm pretty sure him labeling a wine 19 Crimes is not a big
Yeah.
deal. And who to say, what that 19 Crimes was? It's wine. What if it was the 19 Crimes of love? Nobody
Mhm.
really asked that question. All they cared about
Yes.
was they thought it was degrading in some way to Black History Month for producing, black owned products up front.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what if it was wine? So what if it was called 19 Crimes? Who cares?
Yeah.
It was
Exactly.
promoting the fact that it's black owned products. That's what they were trying to promote. They weren't trying to insult nobody.
Yes. And we don't know. And once again, it leads to what you and I talk about a lot is that there are folks out there who are offended just to be offended. And
Pretty much.
some feel it's negative because one, it's alcohol, two, because it's Snoop Dogg, and three, because it says 13 crimes. We don't 19 crimes. We don't like you said, we don't know what that means. Did you look it up to see what it meant? Like you said, it could mean anything, you
Right. He
know?
could have many
And
reasons why he called it 19 crimes.
exactly. And then going to what we call the Black Girl Magic wine, I heard that's pretty good. Tony been trying to get us to try it on the show for months now. So,
Yeah, no, exactly. I've been wanting to.
so to me, what's the issue if it's on display at a supermarket? Now, if it was like in a museum or something, yeah, that might be inappropriate for a museum. But it's a supermarket. Yes, they could have did some better things. I get it. But sometimes, and I'm gonna say this, folks, sometimes we complain too much without any solutions. You know what I mean? If you felt Kroger's did a bad job, maybe you might want to say, hey, we feel we have a better display that may help and that may push how we feel Black History Month should be celebrated by Kroger's. And I know a lot of local Kroger's have that freedom, that ability to do that. You know what I mean? Maybe they should. My thing is, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I can see both sides of it, but let's be clear. It's to me it's a non-issue. You know what I mean? And that's out of Georgia. I believe it's Peachtree, Georgia. I can't I
Yeah,
can't
to me,
remember.
I'm the same way as you. I can see both sides. I can understand where it may come across as somewhat offensive because of what people try to socialize, the
Yeah.
black community with alcohol. But it's
Yes.
not like it was hard alcohol. It was both
Yes.
wines. It was something
Hmm.
that people enjoy during romantic times and stuff. Why does it have to reflect so negatively? You know?
And for those who don't know, black folks drinking wine is kind of trending right now. It's kind of the thing right now. You know what I mean? But it's been the
That's
thing for
probably another reason
years.
why they did it. Well, that might be
Yeah,
another reason why they did it because if you look at it, the supermarket, they have the statistics to know that's what people are enjoying. So I don't see
exactly.
what they did wrong. They went by what their analytic marketers said and they went
Mhm.
with it.
Now, also, what we have to really think about too here is that Kroger's may have approved it, but the distributors paid for that space. I don't know how many of you know how retail works, but when you walk into a supermarket and you see a big thing of just let's say Oreos, that's not something that Kroger's did. That's something that the distributor for Oreo said, "Hey, we want to have this space right here," and they pay Kroger's for that space. So
Yep.
this was put up, and I felt it was fine. And it also, like you said, Tony, there might be some folks out there, no matter what their what race they are, there might be some folks out there who didn't know that there were black owned vineyards and black owned products like wine, and it's gonna
Right.
cause say, let me go ahead and pick this up. Let me see what it's like. You know what I mean? And that just supports
Yep.
what it's going. If you don't like it, that's fine. But at least you had the opportunity to say, "Wow, I want to try this." You know what I mean?
No, exactly. That's why the vendors do pay to get their exposure, because if their sales is not where they wanted to be, or they got new flavor to release, and that's why they pay for that exposure.
For real.
So I mean,
Now,
unless you're gonna tell me you got a personal problem with Snoop Dogg, just relax,
mhm,
mind your own, walk past the display and go shopping. They're not there to whine about things. They're there to go get food.
exactly, sir. Now, another thing that's came up here, y'all, and I'm a reporter here. I'm gonna explain it to you, Tony, unless if you haven't heard. There's this new trend of men who feel that women here in America are too masculine and too dominant and not submissive enough to be ideal mates. So these guys have gone to countries under the guise of looking for a submissive wife in these countries, or a more traditional wife in these countries. Now this spans across the color lines here, but in this particular case, it was a black guy, and he had went to the Dominican Republic, and as he missed his plane, and Spirit said, "Yeah, we can go ahead and get you on, but there's $100 change or rescheduling fee," which we both know, Tony, that's standard for most airlines. Period. So,
Actually, this is something I learned in the last year.
uh-huh.
The Spirit Airlines would actually technically owe him money for
Mhm.
having to reschedule him if they overbooked or anything.
No,
So
he missed his
technically,
plane.
it just depends on the situation.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
missed
missed it.
his.
Okay, yes, that is very standard. Okay, my
Yeah,
apologies. I thought you said that they
yeah.
had to reschedule him for something else.
No, no, no. He had to pay the
I'm hot.
rescheduling
I'm hot.
fee. Yeah, I know. But this is the thing, folks. One thing also that these guys consider themselves what they call high value. So they're making money, they're upwardly mobile, they're doing this, they're doing that. Now, he was there in the Dominican Republic for the weekend. When he came in on Friday, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna do the Dominican Republic on a $500 budget just to show you I can do it." Come Sunday, all that bravado was gone. He was begging somebody to send him some money so he can get the ticket. He wanted somebody to give him some money because he was hungry. He only had about $15 left, which led me to believe that, bruh, you actually went to the Dominican Republic with $500. I can see if you're trying to do a $500 challenge and then had some money on the back end just in case shit happened. But, bruh, you embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed all these quote unquote passport brothers, but they already embarrassed themselves. This shit is hilarious. I went down the rabbit hole on this, Tony, and it is fucking hilarious. These guys are these alpha males, the kind of guys that hang out with the guy who just got caught up in Romania. I can't remember his name. I don't.
Andrew Tate.
Huh? Tate, yeah.
And
You know,
yeah, fuck him. I don't like him.
yeah. And these guys are hilarious because they follow that type of rhetoric. They feel that. And then a lot of his friends were explaining to him that some friends got on social media and said that this guy had broken some of the code. I don't know what the code is, but fuck what they talking about. Some guys
Right.
got on there and said that a lot of you women, y'all catch Spirit too. He was basically trying to deflect, trying to say, hey, y'all fly Spirit too. It wasn't the fact that he was flying Spirit. It was the fact he went to a foreign country with not enough money to get out if he got stuck. And you guys
Yep.
always claim to be high value men. You all claim to be upwardly mobile. You know what I mean? Come on. Let's be clear. I wouldn't even travel with $500 if I was just going to LA for the weekend. I would have more than $500 in my pocket.
For sure.
It's the craziest thing. Sir, do you not, if y'all go to TikTok and just type in Passport Bros, you'll see a lot of women creators laughing at these guys. But one woman did something in particular, Tony, that I thought was hilarious. If you're so high value, where is your travel card? Because those folks who travel a lot, they have a credit card that they use just for emergencies. That card is used if they need to pay for something, and then they have what they call a travel card. You know, the card they use to get points and shit. You know,
Right, exactly.
they have several lines of credit that supports this travel lifestyle. But where was it? You know, another thing, you're talking about your fans. Where were your bros? Because I found out that these passport bros, they don't travel alone. They travel in packs.
Right.
It's at least 2 to 3 of them at a time. It's never, you know, from what I've been reading, it's never solo. These guys are not solo traveling. These guys are traveling together. So why did your friends leave you? Is one of your codes, you know, leave no man behind? You know, I don't know. That would be my code. I know I wouldn't leave Tony. What's up?
That's where I didn't even hear about this till you mentioned it, nor have I ever heard of Passport Bros. Now, here's my question. Is this guy new to the community? Because if he's new, he's trying to fit in and he miserably failed. That's what I'm wondering.
I can see that. Is he a rookie in this? Now, if you know, Andrew Tate is considered a passport bro because he goes to other countries supposedly seeking a submissive wife. You know, that's what he is. They call them passport bros because they get a passport for sex tourism. And for those who don't know, sex tourism is a thing. It's normally associated with predators, which is what it is. But it's normally predators going to foreign countries for young women or young girls.
Basically things you can't pull off here in the U.S.
Exactly. Now, Andrew Tate has been caught up in some of that, but a lot of this is just men going to these countries so they can have sex with women under the guise of looking for a mate. And it is sick. They're predators. And if you can't get women in the US, trust me, you can't go to another country and get a woman because you're going to go to those countries. They're not interested really in you. They're trying to get that ticket to the American dream, and you dumb motherfuckers just happen to walk right into that trap. They'll be submissive for a while, but after a while, they're going to start living that fucking life. They're going to be taking your money. And bro, I would hope you are new to this situation because that might give you a little bit of mercy. But Tony, he doubled down. When he got back, he mentioned it, talking about he wants to go back to the Dominican Republic. Like, the fuck? Are you?
The first time didn't work out. Why would you go back another time?
That's my thing too. Why would you go back a second time? It is completely fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. And this is my thing, people. Like I said, if you can't get women here in the States, you're not going to get them anywhere else either, because the women in other countries, especially when you go to some of these third world countries, they're not looking for you. They're not interested in really marrying an American. And some will tell you they're here for the American dream and they're here to spend your money. And bro, if you went to the Dominican Republic with $500, I believe this passport brother thing ain't for you, man. You might want to stay local.
I've seen other tourists go to Thailand and everything, and you're talking about way more than 500. Even though the company of the woman for the night is fairly cheap compared to America, you're still thinking about how much you're going to charge extra throughout that night, et cetera, et cetera. The food, the tourism. $500, that was like probably your daily budget. Why were you going there for the whole weekend with that? You should have went there with at least $1,500.
Exactly. Now, it is pretty inexpensive to go to these countries. It is pretty inexpensive to stay in these countries. But like you said, it could easily be a $500 a day habit. I'm sure there are people who are trained travelers who know how to do a weekend in the Dominican Republic on $500. There's people who know how to do it. I'm not saying there aren't, but he isn't one of them. What were you? It makes me wonder, what were you doing, sir? What were you doing? What were you thinking about? I mean,
I think
come on.
he might have had the right heart, right thing at heart. He might have said, "Hey, I'm gonna show these people not how to not fuck up." Who knows? I don't know because that'd be the only way he can recover from this. Is saying that was just me showing you a lesson of what not to do. I don't know.
No, don't do that. Don't do that,
Yeah.
sir.
No.
And it's just crazy. And we're talking about relationships. Everybody knows that. Everybody who knows me knows that when I'm not doing the podcast, I am a driver for a popular rideshare company here in Las Vegas. Now, I hear a lot of things, I see a lot of things, and when something is really like strikes a chord with me, I share it on Facebook, and I have Rideshare
Hmm.
Chronicles. Now, this one happened the other night, Tony. I picked up somebody up out in Summerlin, and
Okay.
when I pulled up, it was a guy and his girl, and they had some bags. Suitcases, not like plastic bags. If I saw plastic
Yeah.
bags, I
Yeah.
figured he was getting kicked out. But I pull up, he puts the luggage in the back, and he tells her, "Hey, you get the money?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Tell your mom I said hi." He closes the door, and I start the trip. Now, this girl gets on the phone, and from what I surmise, or from what I heard, this guy and this girl just broke up because she was caught cheating twice. And he broke up with her, and he was putting her out. And the first call she made was to some friend who was very loud and who was very boisterous. Not trying to talk about her situation. I would figure she was single. But she was
Mhm.
saying she could do better. He was kind of corny. He was this. He was that. And as this conversation is going on, I'm like, oh, this must be the friend who encouraged her to cheat. She seems
Mhm.
like the type. And I'm making a generalization, y'all. I don't know this person. I'm only going by the information I have in the moment in time. So I don't want nobody saying, oh, not all single women are like that. I don't want y'all in my inbox with that. I understand that. I'm only going by what I heard, and I call it like I see it. I'm a 50 years old, and I'm a pothead. I've been around the block a few times, y'all. Anyway, I found
Hold
out.
on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you continue, you said you don't want them in your inbox, ladies. If you feel that you want to argue about what he just said, come argue with me. My bed is wide open. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, one thing that I you threw me off. I knew you was gonna do some shit like that, but here we are. I found out he had given her $700. Don't know why. Don't know this. Don't know that. Um, After she hung up with this friend, because this friend took her through all the emotions, he's back in the back huffing and puffing. And then she calls the guy and proceeds to plead her case. Now, in this whole conversation, she never apologized. She was basically saying, "Hey, I understand. I fucked up. I want to come back. I now know what you are about." And he was like, "No, we talked about this. You knew if this happened again, this was what was going to happen." And she asked the question, like, she was like, "Why would you give somebody $700 if you don't love them?" And he said, "I didn't say I did not love you. What it is he said, and this was the deepest shit I had heard. He said, I am trying to do things in my life which I thought was for us. And I don't have the mental energy to keep guessing if you're on board, where you're at when I'm at work, where you're at while I'm trying to do things for us." And I was thinking, that's some real shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what problems he may have. I don't know if he has some girl on the side. I don't know. He told her the $700 was an investment in her to start her new life. And I couldn't argue with that. I could not argue with that. That is not something I am completely okay with that. You know what I mean? I have no issues with what he said. And she said she understood, but then she got a little bit angry, saying, you never got how I felt about it. You never this, you never that. And he said, I have screenshots. Now, mind you, Tony, this guy never raised his voice. He never raised his voice. He was talking very calmly. He was okay. And she felt that was a little weird. She felt he was being a little too calm. She felt that certain things shouldn't have happened how they happened. Maybe she expected him to do bitch, get out, the kicking her out, get you on. But he paid for her ride. He gave her money. And, when I discussed this, some women were saying he got a girl on the side. He got a girl on the side. If he really had a girl on the side, this would be the reason. There wouldn't be no reason to give her $700. Why would you give her $700? So I believe it was really a goodwill gesture to say, hey, this didn't work out. Let's go ahead and do this separately. You know what I mean? You go your way, I'm gonna go mine. No hard feelings, because that's the way it sounded when he was talking on the phone. And after I found out what happened, I thought this was a guy putting his girl in the car, giving her some money, so they can do the thing, so they can do shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the reality is, he had just given her the money. He paid for her car to her mama. And then that's when my pothead, asshole-ish Gen X ass kicked in. We go to Gen X thoughts.
Now, hold on.
Now,
well, I actually have a funny story to this, because I can actually agree and understand why the guy did what he did. Because believe it or not, you can ask Cheryl one of these days. And her and I think that this lady has a baby of mine that we can't confirm yet. Anyway, so way back when I was younger, and keep in mind, I was young. This guy sounds like he was older. I was younger, and I paid for a girl to leave from here to Vegas to go stay with her parents and be down there when I broke up with her. The reason was not because she cheated on me or anything, but overall, to me, and this is just me as a person, as a gentleman, this woman invested time into me. She stayed here in Vegas for me. So the least I can do is at least pay for her way back to Texas and so forth, and a little money in her pocket to, get by while she looks for a new job down there. And that's just the way it is. Did that mean I have a girl on the side? No. It was because of the fact that, again, to me, it's a gentleman way to go about it. If the girl did nothing to me, he had a right to be mad, but he handled it like a gentleman. He said, listen, it didn't work out for us. And like you said, he never said he didn't love her. So why would he not help her out at least? So for women to make that assumption, I'm just going to ask, how many of those women are currently in a happy relationship? Because I'm curious at this point. Because with their assumption, my guess is they think the worst of men, and I just don't see them being in a happy relationship. Nothing against any of the women you may know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And that's where I land too. I felt it was the cool thing to do. It's something, and I tell you right now, and I'll tell you, this is something me and my girl have set up. She knows that I'm not gonna, no matter how it is, I'm gonna make sure she's set up if we ever part. And it's, some people might say, oh, that's what to say, oh, that's self-fulfilling prophecy. You plan to break up. No, I don't. I don't plan to die either, but I got life insurance. You know what I mean? Exactly. But then again, that means I'm planning to die. But that's something that's inevitable. But
but it's not like a plan that's like we're hoping to die. We're not like out to go die. Just like we're not out to go break up with our girl. It's just that if we know it's a possibility, we know what our plans are.
Exactly. And it's okay. And you know, some people, like you said, are you in a happy relationship? And are you? You know, because I believe the friend she called wasn't in a. If she was in a relationship, it wasn't happy. You know, and I'm thinking here,
Nope.
oh, you had this nice ass cushy situation in Summerlin. Now you're going back to the east side with your mama.
Mm-hmm.
And was it worth it, girl? Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened, what transpired. I don't know what type of person this man is. I really don't. But let's understand, he seemed like a stand-up guy from the little bit I do know of this guy. He seems like a stand-up guy. And my thoughts is I think he did the right thing. I believe we have a generation of people or generations of people who think breakups have to be dirty and nasty and mean and just hate filled. And sometimes it isn't like that. Sometimes you just walk away saying, hey, this shit just didn't work out. You're going to go your way. I'm going to go my way. No hard feelings. None, people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
No hard feelings. And that's how and that's how I feel, y'all. Let us know in the comments. Let us know let us know what and how you feel about this situation. You know what I mean? And I got a little time for something else here, Tony. I don't know if you heard this story out
Okay.
of Alabama. And two Alabama basketball players were involved in, well, I shouldn't say two. One was involved in a situation to where there was a shootout and him and a friend ended up killing a woman who was sitting in a car. My understanding is that she was a bystander. Both these guys were charged with murder. The one guy, he was kicked off the Alabama team. But in the investigation, they found out that another player, his name is Brandon Miller. He's a top-rated player at Alabama. He
Okay.
his friend's name is Darius. I'm sorry, the guy name is Darius. Darius paged Brandon, or why did I say page? You know I'm old. Darian texted Brandon to bring a gun. We find out that the gun that Brandon bought to Darius was the gun used to kill or used in the killing of this young woman. Now, Darius and this guy who he went because as soon as Brandon gave Darius the gun, Darius gave it to his friend. Next thing you know, this girl is dead. So, Darius and his friend charged with capital murder. People, there are folks out there who feel that Brandon Miller should also be charged in this situation as he brought the gun to Darius, and Darius didn't get a gun. It's a chain. You know, some folks are like, at the very least, it's accessory. Now, however, murder is intent. So Brandon brought down the gun. We don't know what reason that was given to him to bring the gun, but you and I both know, Tony, we're grown enough to know that if we're going to bring a gun to somebody, it's not to scare them. They plan on using it.
Mm-hmm.
And
pretty much. There's no other reason to ask for it.
Exactly. I personally believe, I think by California and Nevada law, he would be charged with murder along with the other guys because he pretty much escalated the situation whether he knew what was going on or not.
Right.
You know, there has to be some sort of adjacent crime. Now, however, Alabama coach got on TV to say, we don't know what happens when these kids aren't at practice or aren't at games. Yeah, we're aware, but we have no control over these situations. It sounded like a cover-up. It sounded like they were about to protect this guy. And not about, they are. Let's be clear, they are going to protect this guy. And the DA said they weren't going to charge him because they didn't have anything to charge him with. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, y'all, if Tony calls me to bring my firearm to where he's at, I'm gonna start asking questions. I'm sure there was, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna ask questions. Why do you need a firearm, Tony? Why do you need this? What's going on? But if I take it and then Tony uses that gun in the commission of a crime, I think I think there should be some responsibility. You know, people are like, he shouldn't be on the team. He should face some sort of consequence. And to me, the school and the athletic department do need to investigate his role and where his head was. You know what I mean? Now, these two guys, well, at least Darius, said that the gun was being used in defense, which means we know there was a shootout. And my estimation is that this woman was in the crossfire. You know what I mean? And she lost her life. But also, if it was a shootout, there's other guys involved too who, in my opinion, need to be charged also. Because I don't know, I'm from California. We know in California, if you were a gang member and you were in the car when somebody got killed, you taking that murder charge too. So
everybody involved. Anybody who was letting off a firearm, it didn't matter if your bullet hit them. I remember that about California.
Yeah, they still got that law. But I do believe there should be consequences for this young man. I believe that. I believe there should be consequences for this young man because he did, to me, commit a crime. I don't know what you could use it on, but these are one of those things where we talk about sort of like common sense gun control laws. You know what I mean? Or gun laws, because if I have a registered gun, it would have to be a real extreme situation for me to give that gun to Tony, not knowing what he's going to do with it. You know what I mean? Even if it is saying, hey, we've been having some break-ins in my neighborhood, you think I can borrow your firearm? I still would say, nah, man, I think you might want to try something else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because if you do that, you know, we don't know the situation. Something might happen. You know, next thing you know, I'm on the hook. So to me, it was a big risk. So I believe as a coach and as a representative of the athletic department at Alabama, they need to look into what happened. What was his mindset? You know, let me take a drag because that's sort of dragging me out a little. But you know, it's crazy to me. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, so there's a lot of people saying, well, he didn't do nothing. Then there's a lot of people who said, fuck, he did do something. You know what I mean?
You know, this goes back to, if it's a registered gun, you take responsibility for that gun at all times, no matter what, because it's registered to you. Now, on top of that, as a registered owner, if you're going to give your gun to someone else and you don't want the responsibility of it, you should probably make it well known or transfer the blue card or something for the time being. You know?
Yeah. Well, however
cover your ass.
Yeah. Now, I do believe, even though he might not face criminal charges, I feel that, and I know her family can probably sue him for wrongful death because they don't have to prove, you know, with wrongful death, you don't have to prove intent. Matter of fact, that's a perfect wrongful death suit because to the way it looks, if he didn't bring the gun to the situation, that young lady would still be alive, may still be alive today.
Yep. I mean, even a minute of our life being altered in any way would change the ripple effect of everything. So if you didn't bring the gun to him and he had to look for a gun and that shootout didn't happen until later, that lady may not have been there. So yeah, there's straight up wrongful death in every aspect right now.
Exactly. So I was very, sorry about that. I was very it's split. You know, it's split, but to me, I believe some sort of consequence is in order for this young man. And I was thinking, and I was talking with my girl about it. I was like, this is going to mess up his NBA chances. He might go on at Alabama to have a stellar career at Alabama. But when it comes to the NBA, they're going to pull that up. They're going to talk about it. And some professional coaches may not want to deal with that situation. Let us know
No,
what you think
a lot
about.
of these people are always under investigation by the media and everybody. The last thing they need to do is have the media up their butt because they took on some kid who was responsible for
Mhm.
someone's death.
Yeah, exactly. And let us know in the comments what you think. If you're on the replay, let us know what you think about the Brandon Miller situation going on at Alabama. With that, man, I am moving on to what I've been watching on TV. And I'm into anime. Those who know me know I'm into anime. I'm into animated cartoons and things like that. What I've been watching lately, I've been watching a few things, but I've watched enough of this to know that I like it. And it's called Assassination Classroom, and it is streaming on Crunchyroll. It's right there in front of me. God damn, boss. The fuck?
Take another hit. Let me know if that helps.
I know, right? And it is called Assassination Classroom. And what this show is about is there is this creature from outer space who came to Earth, and one thing he did was he damn near destroyed the moon. He took 70% of the moon out. He came to Earth. There is nothing they can do to stop this thing. And he said that he was going to destroy the Earth, but before he left, he wanted to teach children. The premise seems ridiculous. So they gave them this class of kids who are considered fuck ups, who they don't think will go anywhere. But on top of this, these kids are trained assassins. So the episodes are
Wonderful.
built with this teacher teaching these children, but these children are trying to kill them any chance they get. Now, this monster is supernaturally fast and you know very smart. So the weapons they've given these kids only kill this creature. Tony, the creature gave them these things so they could try to kill him. So the
Sounds
government,
cocky.
right? The government made a deal with him, said, okay, you teach these kids. If by the end of the school year, these kids don't kill this monster, the monster is going to destroy the earth, period. And so these kids in every episode are trying to kill this motherfucker. This guy he moves very fast. He can hear, he can smell. It's like, it's crazy. And I gave it 4.5 blunts. It is cool because if you're high, oh, this is the show. And you get to see the drama because there's one kid who's very smart, but he doesn't have a lot of confidence in himself. But he's been keeping notes on this thing. You know what I mean? To see what his
Hmm.
weaknesses are, see how they may be able to assassinate this damn teacher. And they also all the other kids come to this guy. His name is Nagisa. That's his name. That's the character's name, Nagisa. They also come to him to compare notes, to see his notes, because they know he's very observant of this creature. But yeah, that is streaming on Crunchyroll. That is Assassination Classroom. I don't want to give it up too much. It is dubbed and subbed. So y'all folks who like reading, or you folks who just like watching in English, I'm a pothead. Don't really feel like reading when I'm watching my anime. So
All right.
um, I gave that 4.5 blunts because it's entertaining and it keeps your interest even when you're high. And then it leads to a whole lot of conversations like, why didn't he just destroy the fucking earth? Why are you negotiating with these people? Now it just seems like you're sadistic. You just really just setting these people up to fail. You gave him the weapons to kill. That's like Superman giving people kryptonite and say, I dare you to kill me. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. Like I
You
said, a
know,
little cocky.
yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. When he's cocky, he turns a different color. So they know these things. But that was Assassination Classroom. Like I said, that is on Crunchyroll. And what you've been watching, Tony? I know you've been
So
busy.
on Netflix, Oh yeah, but you know I gotta make time to watch something. You gotta have a little you time.
Yes.
Um, but I've been watching on Netflix is Upshaw season 3.
Upshaw. Oh, the Upshaws. Okay, that's what
Yeah, the Upshaws. Mike
Kim
Epps,
Fields
Wanda
and Mike
Sykes,
Epps.
and
Yeah.
Kim Field. Yep, yep.
Okay.
All three of them. Let me tell you something. It just seriously reminds me a little bit about some of my life and how not getting along with, not so much in this case the aunt, because the aunt's
Mhm.
one of the Skype inside this
Yeah.
show, but whereas through with me, it was more like some of the in-laws though, like my sister-in-law. Yeah, that would be me and my sister-in-law all day long. I would talk shit to her all day. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
And that's just
Mhm.
why when I watch that, it's something I can relate to. It's funny.
Mhm.
You know, if you're a big Epps and Sykes fan, you would love the show. Probably
Uh,
one of the best combo of actors and actresses working together, to be
mhm.
honest.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I want to say. It could be the first season. I have to go back, but I did like the on-screen chemistry. I did like the way it was written. I did like the way it was directed. And like you said, this combination is awesome. Now, I'm not a big Kim Fields fan, but they wrote her correctly. I am tired of her playing the same type of character, but she sort of gave this one another life. You know what I mean? So she's still playing that sort of role, but she's funny.
It's a
She's not.
twist. It's a twist to it. To me, it showed more of her, like her
Yeah.
personal personality.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give that. I'm gonna have to give that a watch to catch up with that, man. What would you give it?
I would seriously give it a 5 blunt. So I can watch these seasons over and over. The chemistry and everything is just on point. Like honestly,
Mm-hmm.
again, it seriously reminds me of some of my lifestyle with my family. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a 5 blunt.
that's right on. I get that. That's cool. And definitely got to catch it, y'all. Let us know in the comments what you're watching. Let us know. Let us know what you're watching, how you felt about it. Because if I see something if you put something in the comments that I haven't watched or we haven't watched, we definitely gonna look at it. We are definitely gonna look at
Oh
it.
yeah.
Except I don't do horror. I don't do horror, y'all. So just know if it's horror, I probably won't check it out. That'll probably be on
I will
Candy.
check it out. If it's not a good thing, I'm going to
Mhm.
come back on the show and bitch you out for that. So
Yeah.
just, just point that out there. If you put something in the comment that's a horror movie and does not meet my standards, I'm going to
Mhm.
rudely interrupt Funky Monk and Candy, and I'm going to come on there and look for you in the audience and be like, F you.
I get it, man. I get it. Man. But yeah, definitely let us know what you're watching. I'm a big movie
When
buff. Um Ant Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania came out. I have not seen it. But when I do, I will give y'all my opinion on it. But right now, from what I've been hearing, I should not listen to what the critics are saying. I should listen to what the people are saying. So I'm gonna definitely check it out and see what it's like. Hopefully, I'll have a review for it, y'all, next week. Now, my review this week happened last week when I went in, and I have to say this, I should have said it last week. There was no leftover candy for fucking Valentine's Day. I went to 3 places. It was like they had nothing on clearance. If I didn't know any better, they started putting the shit on clearance on Sunday. You know what I mean? If I didn't know any better. But I did come across some it wasn't even Valentine's candy. Milky Way has a cookies and cream flavored Milky Way candy bar. And so I said, you know what? I like cookies and cream. Y'all saw me review the Ultimate Oreo last week. I I didn't I shouldn't have, but I did because I always talk about why the fuck would I buy an Oreo flavored Oreo, but that's beside the point. We now have a cookies and cream Milky Way. For those who don't know, a Milky Way is basically a Snicker without the nuts. It's just got caramel and nougat. Now, I had the Milky Way. I gave it 2 blunts. One being, I didn't taste the cookies and cream. I didn't taste the cookies and cream. I like Milky Way. I like it because it had the caramel in it. That's why I gave it 2 blunts. It was Milky Way and it was caramel. But for you to say this is a special flavor, it just wasn't hitting for me. It wasn't hitting for me at all. And this is a Munchie review, not a 420 review. The fuck? It's just really, I was disappointed. I expected maybe like, you know, a little cookie crisps in it or something. You know what I mean? But no, it was just nothing. I didn't taste anything, so I was like, oh, you know. So that's what I gave the cookies and cream Milky Way. I do have some other stuff I'm gonna review in the coming weeks. I found some leftover. I shouldn't say leftover. I did find some candy on clearance. I've eaten it simply because I was high. I will review that next week for you guys, just to let y'all know. And definitely let us know what your go-to munchie is, because when I get the munchies, I want something salty, then I want something sweet. You know what I mean? And then I'm done. You know, I might smoke again, but by then I'm gonna try to chill out on the food, because you know, being a pothead sort of takes its toll on your body, especially when you get the munchies. Especially when you get the munchies. And right now, y'all, we are at that part of the show where I want to thank Tony for standing in for us. Thank you for smoking. Thank you for watching with us. This is the Aging Potheads. We are here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We are all there live every week, every Sunday, every Wednesday. God damn. Pothead, just pothead, y'all.
Big time. You big pothead tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big pothead tonight. This jungle cake is really strong. It's really strong.
I can see that.
It's not like I can't handle it, but right now I really can't handle it. You know, I'm glad that the show is almost over because it is what it is. Now, as always, before we stop the show, folks, I want to let you know, if you ever are in a crisis and thinking about harming yourself or others, please pick up the phone, text or call 988 and get the help you need, y'all. I can't stress that enough. Please go ahead and do that. I say it at the end of every show. Now, with that being said, once again, I thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Tony, for sitting in for Miss Candy. We hope to see Miss Candy next week. I really did want to have her on because I wanted to wish her a happy belated birthday. She celebrated her birthday on Monday. I really wanted to celebrate that with her today, but she will be back next week, you guys. Until next time, we say to meditate and medicate. And as always, until next week, y'all, stay lifted. Good night.
Later.